Hey everyone, how are you? What's going on? Happy Monday, my favorite day of the week. What's going on? My name is Karyn Medeiros. I am founder of The Makeup Nerds and creator of a kick-ass lifestyle blog over at KarynMedeiros.com. In case this is your first time hopping on and you don't know who the hell I am, that's who I am. What's going on? So today we're not going to talk about makeup at all. So when you're hopping on, say hi. If you are new, say hi. Tell me where you're from so I can thank you for joining. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. And don't forget to share the video to be entered in to win this Friday's draw, which is Kate Spade wristlet giveaway. You can choose whatever color you want. So just bottom left-hand corner, click the share button. And make sure you comment shared below. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Carrie. Hey, Tiff. Hi, Carmel. Hi, Lynn. Okay, so, hey, Amy. What's going on? So, today's video is, thanks for sharing, Amy. Today's video, we are going to talk about, I'm going to share with you some of the steps that that I take to make things happen for me and my family. And I believe that if you follow the same steps, or there's really only one step. There's really only one step. And I'm going to share that with you. And then I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you examples on how there's one step. And then I'm going to share with you 6 ways that you can kind of break that one step up. Okay, does that make sense? Hi, Christine. So I have so many different examples, but I'm going to share with you, we just moved December 1st, 2017. So it's been about 8 months, it's July now. So it's been about 7 or 8 months. And I love my house. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And so I often get asked, like, how do I always have such amazing stuff happen to me? And I didn't always have amazing stuff happen to me. Trust me. Like there's been lots of cases where lots of good shit just didn't happen to me. And I was the victim, and I was like, why does all of these crazy, brutal things happen to me? But then when I changed my mindset and I started to kind of practice what I'm going to share with you, everything has changed. And now I create the life that I want for me and my family. And you may think that this sounds like hocus pocus or it's just bullshit, which I used to think that way. I really honestly did. And now I believe it to a core that I literally just want to share it with you. I want you guys to try it. And if it works, I want you to tell me that it worked. And then I want you to go and share it with other people. If it works for you, share it with other people so you can help other people. So I'm going to share the most, one example. I have so many different examples. I have a really good example. I'm not ready to share with you yet about this one, but this one is a really big one. Hi, Carissa. So this one is a really big one. This one is how we moved into our dream home. 7 months ago, but how I made it happen over the last couple years when at that time, years ago, there was no way that we could afford to live here. So this did not happen overnight. I'm going to say that this happened probably within maybe 2 years. Maybe within 2 years of me constantly doing these steps. All right, you guys ready? Thank you, Christine. So this is what I did. I knew exactly what I wanted my house to look like. I knew exactly what I wanted my dream house to look like. And the one step that I did to make it happen was I loved everything about it. Everything about it. So how did I love everything about it? I'm actually going to give you examples of how I loved it. like how I showed it so much love that I actually made it happen. So probably about 2-3 years ago, I don't know, 2-3 years ago, I knew that I wanted to, 2-3 years ago, we had just Mateo. So we just had our first son. Joe and I lived in a townhouse that we bought. We had lived there for almost 10 years, and it was our starter townhome. It was great. It was small, but it was our beginner house. So we were totally grateful for it. We owned it, loved it. But we knew that once we started to have kids that we were going to have to move into a bigger place. That place was almost 1,500 square feet. So I think it was about 1,500 square feet. So it was really small, and the yard was very small. It was probably smaller than like the average really small lawn in the back. But whatever, we were grateful that we had it, but we just knew that we needed a bigger place. But at the time, freaking houses are so expensive, and especially where we wanted to live, it was a lot of freaking money. 10 years ago, we bought our house for so cheap. And 10 years later, obviously the housing market is incredibly expensive. So I literally knew exactly what I wanted. I knew exactly what I wanted my house to look like. So I'll give you some examples. I knew that I wanted white marble floors. I had seen a picture of a house that had these really big. They were probably like, how big are they? They're probably like, so this is what? This is like a foot. That's 2 feet, 3 feet. I don't know, maybe 3 by 3, maybe 4 by 4. I don't know. I'm not that big on knowing that math. They had these big tiles, and they were white marble, just white marble floors. And I saw them, and I absolutely loved them. And I was like, I want my house to have white marble floors. And I knew that I wanted a white kitchen. It was something that was non-negotiable. I wanted a white kitchen. I wanted these white cupboards. I knew exactly the kind of cupboard that I wanted. It had this design like on the doors. I knew that I wanted silver or silver looking handles. I knew that I wanted like a little wine rack. I wanted an island. I wanted granite countertops. And I just wanted everything to be white. I imagined my house just being gray and white, just really sleek. So I had all of this in my head forever, for a few years, and I just knew that's what I wanted. So what I learned is, for me, how to get that was I needed to just show it love. So how the hell was I going to show a house love that I didn't live in, right? That I didn't live in. How was I going to show it love? So there's many examples on exactly what I did. So I wanted an open concept. I wanted a big yard. I wanted a white kitchen, and I wanted white marble floors. Those were kind of like the main things that I wanted in a house. Everything else can be, I don't know, could be fixed or could be done or could be made or whatever. So here's number one. Number one, I went to open houses. I went to open houses of really big houses that I could not afford at that time. There was no way that I could afford it, but I looked in the paper every week and I drove around the neighborhoods that I wanted to live in, and when they had an open house, I would go into these open houses. And I would go into these open houses, and not every house I loved, but I loved how big it was, how open it was. Maybe I loved the kitchen, but I didn't love the floors. Maybe I loved the floors, but I didn't love the kitchen. But I still had that feeling when I was walking into these houses that I was going to find a house just like that. Like I was in love with it. I was just like in awe of it. And I was like, oh, I love this. I love this. And I would physically say that out loud. I would walk into a room if I loved it, and I'd be like, I love this room. I love this room. I love how this is, blah, blah, blah. So I would go to as many open houses as I could. I mean, I didn't go to them every single weekend or anything like that. But but I would definitely go to open houses. Number 2 was there was this neighborhood. It was called the Bluffs. It was outside of Burlington, but it was still inside of Burlington, but it was outside of Burlington, kind of in the country. These houses were like, I don't know, I think they were like $3-4 million, and they were beautiful. They were beautiful. So what I did, it was about like a good 10-12 minutes drive, I guess, out away from my house at the time. And every weekend we would drive. So it kind of was off of a main road. You went into this like kind of little community, and it was only big houses. Like that's all it was. It was probably 15, I don't know, maybe around 15 of these big, humongous houses. And every weekend we would drive to there, just drive through the neighborhood, looking at the houses, looking at the yards, and that's it. But just like, we were just in awe. We were just like, I love these houses. We love the designs. We loved everything. So that's the second thing that we did. We did that every weekend, mostly every weekend. Maybe we skipped a weekend here or there. But we did that for like a good 2 years. Number 3 is we kind of did the same thing, but in a different area. So in Burlington, I lived like, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes this way away from Lakeshore Road. So if you're from, if you know that area, you know that Lakeshore Road is loaded with $1 million houses. Like they're incredibly beautiful. They're on a main street, which is kind of crappy, but they're beautiful. They're beautiful houses. So we would probably drive down Lakeshore every other weekend or something, because it was downtown Burlington and we always had to go there for something. So we would always go the scenic route, which was down Lakeshore, and we would drive, and I would just be in awe. And there was a couple houses that I had as my absolute favorite. I actually found one of them. One of my favorites was on Google. I Googled the address, and they had it up for sale before, so I saw the inside, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It had, big open concept. You walked in, there was a staircase. It was, it had a brown kitchen. It didn't have a white kitchen, but it was just beautiful, and I loved it. And I would always go back, and I would always Google that picture, and I would always look at it. So I did that. That was number 3. I drove down Lakeshore every other weekend, every second, third weekend or so for a good couple years. Okay, number 3. Number 4, I would just, if I was just sitting at night not doing anything, I would go on MLS like, I don't know, all the time. I would just go on MLS, and I would find these beautiful houses, and I would just go through the pictures. And while I'm going through the pictures, I would just like feel love for these pictures. Like, oh, I love that. It's so pretty. Look at this. It's so pretty. Not once when I was driving through these neighborhoods, driving down, looking at these open houses, not once, which is very important, not once did I ever feel like I'll never live in a house like this. Never. I just always thought to myself, one day I'm going to be in a house like this. I don't know how the fuck it's going to happen, but it is going to happen. And that's all I kept thinking to myself. So I looked on MLSs all the time. So that's like realtor listings. If you don't know what MLS is, I would look and I would find the big houses, and I would go through them, and I would just love them. I would go on Google. I would go on Pinterest all the time. I had like a board created just for pretty kitchens, marble floors, white marble floors, white kitchens. And I had a picture of a house that I love. Like, I love the structure of it. It was big. It was beautiful. And I had all of that pinned on a board in Pinterest. And for the last couple years, I would just literally just go on Pinterest and just look at these beautiful rooms. And I actually created a board and created my own house with just making a board. Like, I did a bedrooms. I did a master bedroom. I did a washroom. I did a kitchen. and I just pretended it was my house. Like I was building it. I was just building it on Pinterest. At one point, I actually took a screenshot of kind of like that board that you build on Pinterest. And I actually had it as a screensaver on my phone for a little bit. So every time I opened up my phone, I would just be in love with what I was seeing in front of me. Okay. Then I actually still do that now. The next road over. So I'm in a really, really small town. And, if you kind of drive 5 minutes away, kind of out in the country on one of the side roads, there are these big, beautiful houses. Like they're like probably 7,000 square feet. They're just beautiful. So anytime I have the chance to make a detour or go the longer way, I always make a detour and go down that road, and I just go really slow and I just look at those houses, and I just like, I love them. They're so pretty. I love them. I love them. So that was number 4. So those were the 4 things. Number 5, this one is an important one, was I made a vision board, and I made it very specific on this house. So I have a vision board that's actually sitting in front of me right now. The house is actually off my vision board because I made that happen. But I had that on my vision board probably for about like 2-3 years. It was like around that time, 2-3 years. And I didn't just have a picture of a random house. I had a picture. I think I had 3 pictures of, I had a picture of a house, of the outside of the house. I had a picture of this big, beautiful white kitchen. And I had a picture of a kind of like a foyer that had white marble floors. And it had a staircase that kind of went up like that. It was a really extravagant staircase that went up. And then it had these railings kind of over top, right? So I made that vision board. I had those specific pictures on my vision board, not just a picture of a random house, saying, dream home or anything like that. I also had a date. I had a date of dream home, and I put dream home by 2018. And like I said, I had done this like 2 or 3 years ago. And then the last step that I did was I manifested it. So I did all of this stuff that I just told you, the 5 steps over the last 2-3 years, constantly, consistently. And then I manifested it when I learned how to manifest. And I've learned all about like energy and vibes and all of that stuff. I started to manifest, and I manifested my dream home. I am grateful that I'm now living in my dream home. I think that was my manifest statement. And I manifested that probably maybe 6 months before I think we moved into here, right? So now that I live in my dream home, here is what my dream home looks like. It's my dream home. It may not be your dream home. You may not like it. It may not be your style, but it's completely what I dreamed of. It doesn't have everything, but it has white marble floors. My whole house is either white marble floors or hardwood. My marble floor slats or tiles or whatever are huge. They are like 3x3 or 4x4 or whatever it is. Soon as I walked into this house and I looked down and I saw the white marble floors, I said, holy shit, holy shit. These have white marble floors. And honest to God, I was like, I couldn't see the kitchen. I could see like there was like an opening, whatever. And I was like, please be a white kitchen. And I walked in, and guess what? There was a white freaking beautiful kitchen. The backsplash wasn't white, and I looked at it and I was like, why the hell would they have this backsplash with this beautiful kitchen? But I now have a beautiful white marble backsplash, right? Because that's something that I could fix. But everything else, I had a wine rack. I had my white cupboards. I had an island, and I had my granite countertops. And I always like get emotional because I'm like, holy shit, if I could do this, and I wasn't just given this, right? I believe that I actually created it by showing love to it. And if I can do it, you guys can do it. And maybe it's not about a dream home. Maybe it's about something else, right? But I knew that this was the one that this one was waiting for us, because we had went to so many different houses before, and we had put probably months prior, and we had put offers into these houses, and they were nice, but they needed they had either one or they had the other. And it was like, well, we need to move, so I'll just compromise. Joe's handy. He can fix whatever it was, right? And then we went to this one house, and it was beautiful. And you walked in, and the staircase was kind of over here, but everything was hardwood. The kitchen was beautiful. It was white. It had, another thing was, I had a picture on my vision board of, it was like a room that kind of, it went in from the kitchen into the living room. Like, it was all open concept. But I had this picture of the living room that had a big window, like a big, like the ceilings were, I don't know how tall our ceilings are, 15 feet, 19 feet, 13 feet. I don't know. They're tall. They're very tall. And they had this huge, they had this huge window. That was one of the pictures that was on my vision board. And I walked into this house, and it had that. It had almost everything except the white marble floors. Staircase was off a little bit. The upstairs wasn't exactly how I pictured it, but it was beautiful. It was beautiful. We put an offer in the house. It went into a bidding war, and then I backed out, and I was like, no, I'm not paying that much for that house. And I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed. I was like, this is it. This was our dream house. This is what I pictured. It's literally what's pictured on my board. How come I'm not getting it, right? So after that, we took a break for a couple months, and I took my name off the old MLS listings and then one day I was like, you know what, I'm just going to put my name back on, and I'm going to go look at this listing. And this house that we're in actually showed up, and it was $50,000 over our budget. And I remember looking at it, and I was like, holy shit, it's got the white marble floors. It's got the kitchen. This is it. This is the house. And I was like, it's $50,000 over our budget. How am I going to come up with $50,000? I can't, I don't have an extra $50,000. I can't come up with $50,000. And, again, I was like, I hadn't seen the house, but I was kind of a little devastated, because the pictures were beautiful. They were beautiful. And then, long story short, 2 weeks later, I think it was 2 weeks later. I think it was one or 2 weeks later. So this house that we live in is actually in a different city than we lived in. I only wanted to live in Burlington. That was it. That was it. But we have family here. And I literally said to the universe, God, whoever, whatever you want to call it, the night before, and said, I need a sign. Where am I supposed to live? Am I supposed to live in Georgetown, or am I supposed to live in Burlington? And the next day, I opened up my MLS. This house had a price reduction of $49,000. And I was like, no, this is the same house. And I looked through all the pictures, and I'm like, holy shit, this is the same house. This is the same house. And I'm like, it's $1,000 over my budget. I will do whatever I have to do to come up with $1,000. This is it. I can't lose it. So I called my real estate agent, said, I think we were away at the time or something. And I said, book me an appointment. Book me an appointment as soon as you can. I want to go look in this house. And long story short, we live in this house. We actually had some troubles. We had going back and forth. The deal was dead. The deal was back on. The deal was dead because we couldn't agree on certain things with the sellers, and I was ready to walk away. And then at the last minute, the realtor called and said, let's do it. Let's make a deal. And then, long story short, we moved into this house. So one thing that I did was I literally showed love for something that I wanted. So here's what I want you to do. It may not be your dream home. Maybe you already live in your dream home, or I don't know. Maybe it's a dream car you want. Maybe it's a dream vacation you want. Maybe it's a dream job you want. Maybe it is, I don't know, a life that you want. Maybe it's children you want. Whatever it is, I want you to show as much love to it as possible. I want you to think of different ways of how you can show love to it. Like there's this one thing that keeps popping up that I want. It's actually not for me, it's for Joe. And it keeps popping up, and I know that I want it, but we can't get it right now. I can't make it happen right now. I know that I'll make it happen. I know that. And it keeps popping up and popping up. And what most people would do is that thing that keep popping up, they would start to be jealous of it. And they would be like, oh, I can't afford that right now. Or just, you know, why does she have it? Why does he have it? Why do they have it and why I don't have it? And every time that thing pops up, I just keep showing it love. I keep looking at it and going, oh, I love that. I love it. I love it. I love what it looks like. I love what it stands for. I love it, right? So that's what you need to do. I want you to pick something really small. Pick something small that you want to change or that you want, and it may happen right away and it may not. But if it doesn't happen right away, I don't want you to give up on it. I want you to show it love as much as you can by thinking of whatever it is. So if it is, say, a family vacation, say you want to go to, I don't know, you want to go to Disney. You want to take your family to Disney, but you can't afford it right now. You can't get off work, whatever the reason is that you can't go there. I want you to get a vision board together. So get a vision board together, put on everything that you want your dreams and your goals to happen, make pictures, but be as specific as you can. Try and give them due dates. So that's even more specific, and then show love for it. So what I would do and take action steps. So what I would do for, say, a dream vacation to Disney is I would pack a suitcase. I would start packing a suitcase. I wouldn't pack a full suitcase, but I would start packing a small suitcase of things that you would take to Disney, whether it's a bathing suit, whether it's some towels, whether it's some shorts, tank tops, running shoes, whatever. Or, I don't know too much about Disney to give you more, it's like to give examples, but I would put, I don't know, sunblock or something. I would start looking once a week. I would look for Disney vacations, or I would have somebody else look for Disney's vacations for you. So I would put yourself on a Disney vacation email list to find a travel agent or something like that only, you know, talks about Disney vacations or something. And I would put yourself on an email list. So it's always coming in. And then when it pops in your email, you just kind of show it love. You're just like, look at this vacation. I know who's ever there at that time is going to absolutely love it. We are going to get there. I don't know how, I don't know when. All I know is we're going to get there. I would go buy Disney shirts. I'm sure when you go to Disney, I don't know, do you buy all like Disney shirts to go down there? I don't know. It's probably what we would do when we're ready to go to Disney. I would probably go out and I would buy the boys Disney shirts. I would buy us Disney shirts. I'd probably wear them around, or I would probably pack them in the bag, right? So you're starting preparation steps on how to get there. Does that make sense? So there's some of you that may think that this is bullshit, or that you may think it's voodoo, or you may think it's horseshit, whatever. That's okay. That's okay if you think of that. It's just not for you. But if you really, really want to try and see if it happens, I'm not the only one that this happens to. There's so many others. There's actually lots of women on my team that do the same thing, that actually make, you know, stuff happen for their family. There's women all around the world that I see, that I follow, and they do the same stuff. So I would just give it a shot. I would give it a shot. So main thing you need to remember is just whatever it is, I would start small. I would start small, and I would just show it love as much as you can, and as possibly as you can. That didn't make sense, but you know what I mean, right? Show it love by doing different steps. Like I went to open houses of only big, beautiful houses of what I wanted to live in. I drove by neighborhoods with big, beautiful houses every single weekend, every other weekend, whatever. I was constantly on Pinterest, pinning and creating my own home, literally. So I believe that I totally brought this house to me, and I believe that you guys can bring anything to you. So that's it. That's all I wanted to share. I sometimes I feel like I shouldn't share this stuff because I think that people think like, I don't know, negatively, like, well, that's nice, it would happen to her because she's in this situation or whatever. But people don't know that I haven't always been in this situation. It's only been the last few years that I've had a really, really amazing life, right? I've had to struggle for years just as much as everybody else, but I just choose not to anymore. And I choose to create my own life by literally doing this. Like by doing this, there's stuff that I want. Some of it is like stuff that you can actually hold on to or buy or whatever. And some of it's not, right? Some of it has to do with health, like, you know, creating a healthy body and stuff like that. So that's it. So if you get it, if you get what I'm saying, and you don't think it's voodoo or any of that, then I definitely want you to try it. And I want you to, when it works for you, I want you to send me a message, whether it's in a month, a year, 10 years. I want you to send me a message, and I want you to tell me that you did everything, you showed as much love for whatever it was, and then it finally came true. So that's it, everyone. Have a fabulous Monday. Don't forget to share this video. Bottom left-hand corner, click the share button, and then make sure you comment shared below so you're entered in to win the draw. But I will see you guys tomorrow.